Welcome to Crossbow Appreciation Month. One of the most watched videos here on Death by Bungie is my Where to Aim on a Deer video. That has over 100,000 views. Can you believe that? That tells me that it's an important topic for you friends of Bungie, and I thank you for watching that video. But I am also going to do this video because I think it's an important topic and I got a little bit more to add. A few questions to answer, that sort of thing. This video is Where to Aim on a Deer, Part 2. First off, no discussion of where to aim on a deer would ever be complete on a Death by Bungie video without discussing the Bunjie Triangle. And that was just something I made up in a video. I think I made it up when I made that other Where to Aim on a Deer video. But it's a useful way of describing, I think, where the vitals are on a deer and where you would want to pick your spot, pick your point of aim. And that's where we're going to start. The Bunjie Triangle starts from the shoulder blade on top. If you follow that down, then you've got the upper part of the leg there. And if you connect those dots, you got a nice little triangle there where the vitals are contained nicely. And also with that triangle, if you are shooting down on a deer, you might aim a little higher in the triangle. If you are shooting straight at a deer, like from a blind or hunting from the ground, you might shoot in the middle of the triangle. If the deer is quartering toward you a little bit of a risky shot, but at that point you might shoot a little bit forward in the triangle. You don't want to hit those bones. You don't want to hit that shoulder blade. But if you get a little bit forward in the triangle, you might be able to get both lungs that way still. And if the deer is quartering away from you, you might do the opposite. You might pull back in that triangle a little bit. That way, when it passes through the deer, it would get the back of the lung that's closest to you, go out the front of the lung that's farthest away, that sort of thing. I'm going to try and film a shot from up here with Bunjie. I got a little Bunjie up here. I have, just for what it's worth, people ask me from time to time about rail lube. I do use... people look for all these cheaper alternatives to rail lube, and I'm not really sure why. I bought a tube of rail lube called Scorpion Venom back in 2010 when I bought Bunjie, and I have used that same tube since that time. I still have plenty of it left. Shows no signs of running out. It cost me 10 bucks back then. It's not a big deal. Put on a nice sheen every time you go to shoot, and before you go do your target practice and whatever you're going to do, put on a nice sheen of that, and it'll protect your serving very nicely, and you won't get that gunpowder smell after you fire it and all that other good stuff. You don't want to be dry firing your crossbow in a sense that, and I don't mean dry firing it without an arrow, I mean firing it without a nice coat of something on there to protect it. People are always like looking for these other alternatives. I want to use like WD-40 and all these other things. I'm like, you know, whatever, you can do that if you want, but this stuff is cheap and I don't see any reason to not use it. Put a arrow in there nice, make sure the arrow goes in there good. What I'm going to do, I set this little tree stand up here in the grove right next to the house so I can film here, and I've got the gorilla arm on there. I bought this gorilla arm, tripod arm here, to strap to the tree. Never really used it. Had it set up at one time down on the well pad food plot. The deer spotted me, and it's just an extra thing. I don't need an extra thing. I use that camera clamp that you guys might have seen the other videos on, for those of you who are interested in filming. But what I'm going to do is take a shot from up here with the crossbow. Bunjie and I are going to take a shot, and we're going to stick one in this little deer target that I've got down there. And that way, I can show you that angle that I'm talking about. All right, let's see how it works out. I got the Tacticam on also. I'm going to shoot right off the shooting rail. Haven't done this in a bit here, so hopefully it goes okay. For what it's worth, this is a 10-yard shot. This is the spot I would choose if I were hunting from this location and that were a real deer. Here goes. Actually, that's not a bad shot right there. I think that I would be pretty happy with that. All right, well, that was fun. Get that situated there. Haven't shot from a tree stand since last September, so it's been like 10 months or something since I shot from a tree stand. So this is a fun little exercise, right? Good way to spend a Sunday afternoon. Let's go down there and check out that target. It looks like it was a good shot. I think that's a dead deer right there. We'll go down there and check out that target and see how we made out.
Feel sorry for me, cause I can't pay my bills, and my husband's no help. You know, he's drunk to the gills. You weren't born and dead or addicted to booze. Each of these problems is something you choose. You can make life harder than it has to be, but it's time to take responsibility. Life is easy. I said life is easy. Life is so easy. Life is easy. Don't make it hard.
If you are worried about deer jumping the string, which is a concern, I don't care how fast your crossbow is, it's always a concern. And I think to me has a lot more to do with where you hunt and how pressured the deer are where you hunt. But if that's the case, then you're going to aim a little bit lower in that triangle to compensate for the deer's movement before the arrow makes contact. For jumping the string, there can be a variety of factors that affect that, right? The speed of your crossbow, can that make a difference? Maybe, you know, but you got people shooting everything from 250 feet per second up to almost 500 feet per second today. And I really don't think it makes much difference in between the two. If you do the math on any of these online speed calculators, it really doesn't make much difference. I realize there's like an arms race amongst crossbow manufacturers to get the fastest crossbow out there. But the reality is I don't think that these things are bullets. We're just not there. Okay, so that's just not the point. Distance can also be a factor, right? The farther out that shot is, yeah, you know, it gives the deer more time to react. And they can react extremely quickly. They can move faster than human beings have these reflexes. If you're curious about the effect of distance and the effect of speed on deer jumping the string, watch Dr. Grant Wood's videos about that. They hired an engineer, did a bunch of testing, everything else. And it doesn't matter whether you're shooting 200 feet per second or 300 feet per second or 350 feet per second, deer still jump the string. It's just that simple. Over distance, right? 20-yard shot, not going to make much difference. 30-yard shot, yeah, they start jumping the string and it's pretty serious. Once you get past 30 yards, I just don't take shots beyond 30 yards. I don't know. I mean, you're setting up your hunting stands ahead of time and your plan ahead of time. Just set it up for 30-yard shots or 20-yard shots, and you don't have to worry about that stuff. But that's me. Okay. Enough of that rant. But there are things that can affect deer jumping the string, right? But I really think, in my opinion, what really affects deer jumping the string is where you are, how pressured the deer are, where you are hunting. If you're in a place where deer are not worried about getting shot, they've never stood next to another deer that got shot, you don't have to worry about it quite as much. They won't react the same as deer like here. I'm shooting a deer that just got shot at an hour earlier sometime. So, I mean, we've got neighbors all around us shooting, right? And in Maryland, the same thing. The deer are quite pressured there in some of the spots. In other spots I've been, there's just no hunting at all because it's like a suburban area. And there, the deer don't seem pressured at all. They don't jump the string or nothing. You go into some of the other areas, the ag areas down there where I hunt, and where they've got a lot of pressure. And sure enough, they'll jump the string. So, where to aim on a deer? Yeah, do you want to aim a little bit low? If over time your experience tells you the deer are pressured, you want to aim a little bit low, your point of aim is going lower, then go ahead and do that, right? You're going to pull that point of aim a little bit lower, hoping to get a hard shot, and then if the deer jumps the string a little bit and pulls down a little bit, you might get both lungs instead. That's a takeaway shot no matter what, man. That's a high percentage shot. That is gold. If you can do that, you got it made. I should also point out that even in the cases where I've had deer jump the string, I've never had a deer jump the string and then I didn't recover the deer, where I wounded it and didn't recover it or anything like that. I had one where I miscalculated the distance. I thought the deer was at 30 yards. It was really only 20 yards away, and that makes a big difference. I shot right over that deer's back. It also jumped the string a little bit, I think. But the reality is I wasn't really at risk of hitting that deer no matter what because I was aiming over its back. I didn't know that, but I was using the wrong reticle and the scope. So that kind of stuff happens, right? But if you're in a normal hunting situation where you don't make that kind of error, that kind of operator error, then you don't have that kind of a problem. For the most part, every deer that I've ever shot at where they've ducked the string, because I video all this stuff too. I have video of just about every deer I've ever shot with a crossbow. And those shots, when you watch them in slow motion, if they duck the string, the shot goes a little bit high. I've spined a couple, but for the most part, I still took all the deer home. So in every case, that's not a reason to not adjust, right? Going forward, I'm going to take this into account. On my Bunjie Triangle, I'll be aiming a little bit lower. I'll be bringing those shots down depending on which area I'm hunting in. If I'm in the ag fields down there, I'm going to take that into account and aim a little bit lower so that if those deer jump the string, if they try to duck that shot, I'll still get both lungs. If I'm in a situation where I'm in the suburban area where I don't feel like those deer are quite as pressured, then maybe I won't adjust my point of aim. Maybe I'll leave it up in the middle of the Bunjie Triangle instead. And then there's always those chances where if I'm hunting here, I'm probably going to adjust that shot a little bit, pull it a little bit lower, and see if I can get a good old heart shot on a deer or a double lung shot a little bit lower in the Bunjie Triangle. And remember, accuracy is number one with crossbow hunting. Okay, I'm going to try and film this thing. Oh, wait. Oh, we can get a little bit wider. That's cool. Okay. I'm going to try and film. What? What is that picking up on? I'll do it over, just in case it wasn't getting me. It looked like it was focusing on the deer there. What's up with that?